right, welcome to the show today, everybody. We are lucky to have on with us Revolution Manufacturing. I'm going to butcher the name already. Jerry, how's it going today?
Very good. Thank you.
Jerry is the CEO, president of Revolution Manufacturing. One of the things I'm excited about talking to you about today is I love the people that keep the people working. And your business, let's just start by telling us a little bit about what your business does and how you got into it, a little bit of your personal background, if you would.
Sure. Revolution Manufacturing, we started 30 years ago here in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. We started with remanufacturing the drums for the wood floor sanding machines. They're the drums that the sandpaper goes on for the guys that sand floors. It took us a little bit to get going. One of the main things with wood floor sanders is chatter. And you got to make these drums have to be perfect so that when you put them on a machine, they're running chatter free. It took us a good 6 months to get that completely ironed out so that we were making them chatter free, and then we got started. So that was where we got started. We started doing that drum, this drum, that. Within about 2 to 3 years, we were doing every single drum that's on the market, and we still do. After about a year after that, we started adding fries and a Coke to the hamburger. So we started selling parts. We made edger pads for the edgers. We sold bags for the machines, the dust bags, the wheels, everything. And then we've gotten into a few different things, which we'll talk later on. But about 10 years ago, we got into Vanishing vents. It's still related to the wood flooring industry. And we make vents here in production. We take a little bit of the material that is going to be put in the customer's floor. We bring it in, we make the vents, and we ship them back. So it's an identical match for the floor, the texture, which is very important because these days there's a lot of different flooring that has wire brushed or hand scraped. The color is going to be identical, and the sheen. All these things are definitely necessary when wanting your vents to blend into the floor.
I just got to say something about that because I've seen the wood vents that pop up, but you guys have created it so that it's flush to the floor.
Flush, yes.
Like
Yeah.
super cool impact, super cool application of that process. So
Yeah.
so tell me a little bit about why you decided to, like, I mentioned the people that keep the people running. Like, you're not selling stuff to end use consumers, B2C. You're the company keeping your floor suppliers running. So why did you decide that? How did you end up with that business?
I During my internship, okay, let me back up a little bit. I kind of set myself up for starting a business. I did unconsciously. I did. I first went to school. I was in all math and science, chemistry classes. I wasn't doing that great. I was getting C's, and I'm like, all my friends are getting A's. I'm like, I better switch. So I switched to accounting. I went to the business school, so I got an accounting degree, and then I went out and I worked in accounting, and it wasn't me. And so I went back to school for engineering, and it was me, and I thrived, and I got my manufacturing engineering degree. And during my internship, I had a revelation one night. I was up until about 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, oh my God, I could do this. I can make the decisions. I know I can. And it was like, I could make a business. I don't know what yet, but I can make the decisions. I want a place for people to work that they feel comfortable and are respected and taken care of. That was one of my big things. And I hit it. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. So I started throwing out the idea to different people. And one of my mentors way back then threw me the idea of drum recovery. Because he was in the industry and they were having problems finding the one place switched owners, and the quality kind of went downhill. So I'm like, I said, yeah, I'll research that. I didn't research. I just jumped right in. I'm like, this is it. I knew it
I
was
mean,
it.
you're an entrepreneur. Why would you do any research?
Exactly. So yeah, that's how I got into it. I also, I was in the Marine Corps, so I know that helped me, with my discipline and some structure. So between, the degrees and the Marine Corps, I kind of feel I inherently kind of set myself up for this.
Yeah.
Plus the desire to do what I want to do.
Was there a thought that hit you at 5 o'clock that morning, or was it a compilation of just realizing that you had put yourself in that position?
Well, it started at about 11 p.m. and I think I got to sleep at 5 a.m. I think things have been building up, in my brain, my thoughts. I worked at some different manufacturing places. I've done this, I've done that. And I'm like, it just hit me. And I'm like, what if I did that?
Yeah.
And so that's when I said, I got to find something.
That's awesome. So what's your biggest learning been so far?
Biggest learning, I'm going to go with, I'm just kind of learning it now, 30 years in, is to stay focused. Uh,
Oh,
Starting at a younger age, I was getting going. I was 30
yep.
years old, and I'm like, anything that would come by my plate that would be an opportunity, I would always jump at it. And I've done that a lot. I've denied a couple ideas here and there, but mostly I'm like, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm learning now. We actually are taking our top 3 items, and we're getting rid of the rest. I kind of got that from Steve Jobs when he came back to Apple. He took
Yep.
all their best minds and took them on a weekend retreat and said, come up with your top 10 things that we should focus on. Well, they did. He came back at the end of the weekend and said, okay, take the tops or the bottom 7 out. We're just going to do these 3. And I'm like, I got to do that.
Yeah.
And it feels really good. We've been doing it for about 6 months now, and we're slowly getting rid of some stuff, and we're able to focus more on the 3 items that we're really good at.
Yeah. We have a phrase that says completion changes things. So when you are trying to do 10 things, they all get moved an inch forward, but when you're focused on 3, you can get them finished. And, it's like we keep telling people, it doesn't matter if you run 99 yards from the 0-yard line, you still didn't score any points.
Absolutely.
It's the last yard.
And I've had a few of those projects that, I've gotten that 99 yards and I never got across the end zone. So,
yeah, I'd love to say we never did that in our business, but I can't. So,
right.
as you get your those 3 things finished, right?
Mm-hmm.
It creates a different view for you of your business because like things are different when it's done. Like, oh, now this other opportunity is here.
Then you can
And
start taking advantage of those.
yeah, so tell me, we talked a little bit on the pre-call about do you want fries with that? And where did you pick that up from? Because that's like the ideal thing if you have a focused 3, the fries still got to, be complementary to those 3 instead of just, hey, let's have hush puppies and let's have, Brussels sprouts for the love of all things
Yeah.
from the dirt. So how did you decide on do you want fries with that version? Are you culling that a little bit with your top 3, or where's your status on that now?
Um, that's changed because our industry has really changed. It wasn't a big stretch for us because in the beginning, the first 20 years, we basically sold directly to distributors and rental stores.
Yep.
But we weren't selling to contractors. Uh, Now that things have really changed after 2008,
Yeah.
a lot of distributors went under, and the ones that didn't, most of them got rid of their repair shops, and their repair shops were the ones that were getting our drums. And that
Okay.
was easy adding the fries and the Coke because they needed
Sure.
edger pads, they needed this bolt, they needed this wrench, they needed this, and that. So we started inventorying that and supplying for them.
Okay.
But once 2008 came and that wiped out a lot of that. And that's about when things started going more direct towards the end user or the contractor.
Sure.
And just the same with like flooring. Flooring used to run through distribution. After that, it started to run directly from the manufacturers and the importers right into the stores. So it's been evolving. So I guess with it, when it comes to the parts and like the drum area, our fries and a Coke have kind of taken a little bit of a beating on that. It's reduced, but we always come up with new ways, new channels to sell. We just do. I mean, like we got involved with Menards about 10 years ago, and we were doing their repairs on their rental machines, which only lasted about a year, but we got to continue selling them parts. And so we were able to, increase that.
I mean, the reality is you're in a business that should have failed in 2008, 9, and 10 when things, right? And we talk to particularly tradespeople a lot because now they're also living in this situation of fear, right? And yet, we keep telling them in 2008, 9, and 10, things didn't go to zero. Like construction dropped by 10% or something, residential, and 18% commercial, but that meant 82 and 90% of it was still there. So adapting to your point, what's the market doing? How do we serve the market that exists right now is the way to keep moving your business forward. I think you're right. Something always is going to come up that'll be doable, interesting and a good pivot for your business. So
right.
So what's the other side? What's your the biggest other side of that coin is the biggest challenge that you've had as the owner or the leader, and what have you overcome so far? How did you overcome it?
My biggest challenge is managing people. And there's people that are great managers. They put things out in front of them. I get along with my people very well. Very close relationships. That's not the problem. And the guys I do have and the women I do have are awesome. I don't need to really. The managing part comes when you got to let somebody go, or you got to set up. You see something kind of going wrong, and you're like, oh, you got to try and fix it. I always try to fix it, and I probably wait too long before I have to make that decision. But it'll tear me up. I won't get any sleep the night before. You got to push through it. I don't like hurting people. So that's my basic, it's not a flaw, but it makes it hard to manage when tough decisions have to be made. And I'm looking forward to the day where I have an operations manager who takes care of all that.
I'll tell you what, as soon as we're done recording, let's chat about that for a few minutes because there's some easy tools for you. But managing, obviously you care about the people that work for you. Otherwise it doesn't get to be, painful and emotional. And I remember when I was a kid, I was talking about that with another guy in the interview. When I was a kid, I thought the way to, deal with somebody's performance was wait till I got angry enough to fire them. And I'm like, I think back on, the carnage. We didn't fire people very often, just because I had, great people that worked for us too. But man, I remember when I did, I was just a jackass about it. And that's probably, we would wait till we're mad at somebody. And we're like, all right, you're fired. And I'm like, that's totally unnecessary, inappropriate. And why would we ever, get to that point? So learned a bunch about that. We'll share some of that with you afterwards. Yeah.
Experience is a great teacher.
Yeah. So, sometimes it's also very time consuming and expensive instead of
100% on that. Look at me. I mean, I'm finally starting to focus, 30 years into this thing.
So what would you say about that, right? One of the reasons that we started the whole podcast process was people think business is an overnight simple success. So here you said, you're 30 years in and you're learning to focus. What lessons did you learn along the way that finally made that land, right? Where you can feel it?
Good question. I would say, like cash flow. would be the
Okay.
basic indicator of it, because as our cash flow increases, something comes up and I put money over there. Well, now we're
Gotcha.
back to, keeping our nose above water. Well, what if that one
Yeah.
doesn't work? Well, we go under for a little bit and then we come back up and then we get a
Yeah.
little higher and then, oh, there's something over here.
Yeah.
I've had a couple that were really big that, very
Yeah.
closely could have taken us under.
Yeah.
But I think it has to do with age too. When I was first getting going, I'm 30 years old, 35 years old. I'm going to be here forever. I got all the time in the world to do anything I want. And now I'm 58 and I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I gotta, get serious about this and really, because there is an end game. I'm going to either have to sell it or, bequeath it to somebody or hopefully keep it going. So I gotta have something to sell. Instead of all these attempts. Let's stay with the things that we're working and get great at that. That's you find your core and you just get the best that you can be at that, and it really starts to it grows on its own. I mean, we're right now, like with our drums and our maintenance, we do maintenance for gym. We're getting deep into the gym floor industry.
Okay.
One of the reasons why I wanted to do that is because gym floor industry isn't going away. And if there is a recession, these contracts for the gyms are out 2-3 years. It's going to just keep going. And it's a great community, these gym floor guys. And we've gotten really deep. So we do their maintenance. So they send their machines in. We go through them all, get them working right, and send them back.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, again, a pivot to what the market needs with a level of focus on this is the one that can create cash and success from a business standpoint. So
yeah,
that's awesome. If you had to pick 3 people in your journey that you're most grateful for your personal or business growth, even if you just had a cup of coffee with somebody one day and they said something to you, who would those people be?
I would say the people I work with, that's a group, from beginning to now. I have, obviously, except for a couple that have had to go, I've had great people, that have drank the Kool-Aid right along with me and, just given me their 100%. And I would not be here without them. And the guys out there working and the women out there working I'm not going to be here without them, because it's gotten to the point, the size where I can't even imagine. The second would probably be my mom. It's kind of good time for this one because she just passed on Monday.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, but she was very instrumental in the beginning. She believed in me, and this is back in '96. She took out a $25,000 equity loan on her house, which back then was quite a bit.
Yeah, that's right.
And I put it into the business, and along with another 25,000 I got from a mentor. That's how I started.
Yeah.
And got a balancing machine, and got balancing machine being the most important, I guess. Then all the other equipment that went along with it, and just started.
Yeah. What's the next big thing for Revolution Manufacturing? What are you guys working on right now?
Well, we're not slowly working, but we're gradually working on Rev Rider 2. Rev Rider is a riding machine that pushes those big floor sanders back and forth on the gym floors. We came out with one about 10 years ago. Very innovative because it used battery power.
Yep.
There wasn't really it helped, but we were able to do neat things with it, but it never took off. It was one of those ones we got to the 99-yard line. But we're getting rid of the battery, but we're gonna make it better than the ones that are out there now. Everything from comfort to size to speed.
Okay.
And durability and ease to work on. Because after working on all these older ones, it's like, come on, you guys, there's got to be something better.
Yeah.
The second thing is vanishing vents.
Yep.
We are scratching the surface with vanishing vents, and this is going to be one of the things I want to talk to you afterwards.
Okay.
We can scale vanishing vents as far as we want. We got room, we got capacity, we got area to move into, more machines we can get. It's real easy. We're just scratching the surface.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I didn't get it when I think Chloe told me about Vanishing Vents too, and then I saw your website, and I'm like, holy cow! Like that is high end. Because it drives me nuts when I'm in somebody's house and they have one of those.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like a
We call
vent.
them drop-ins because they
I
just
mean,
drop in and sit on top.
yeah, but yours is like if you guys have wood floors, if you're listening to this, you have wood floors, go check out Vanishing Vents because it is super freaking cool from that standpoint. So
And just to mention on that real quick, the third person that I would say for my growth that I didn't
yeah,
get to would be Will Weinstein. He's got a company, Designer Services, who has done all of our websites.
okay,
If you would have seen our websites 2 years ago, you would have laughed. I mean, because I think the one was made on Wix.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I mean, we had to have something out there.
I mean, they're cool, yeah,
And Will Weinstein comes along, and I mean, he's a young kid, and boy, does he go overboard. I mean, I don't know if you saw him. I mean, all the explanations, all the routing and stuff. So if anybody ever needs somebody to build a beautiful website and it's someone that will stick with you and grow it as far as you can for a great price, tell them to talk to me.
yeah. Okay. I have one last question for you
Yeah.
that I never let people know, and that is there a question that you wish I would have asked you today? And if so, consider it asked. And if not, that's okay too.
Boy, you got me on that one. Let me
That's why I never let people know I'm going to ask it.
I guess the only one I can think of. What advice do you have for owners trying to? Yeah, I guess we kind of covered that. What the next? Yeah, I guess we covered everything. I mean, except for maybe where I've come from. I mean, I was born in Michigan.
We won't hold that against you. You're in Wisconsin now, all right?
I moved to Wisconsin in 1980 and never left. So
Yeah.
my dad was in the Air Force or FAA, and we transferred all the time. So I was all over the Midwest, but ended up in Eau Claire, and here I am.
My wife and I lived in Battle Creek for a few years when we first got married because I used to work in cereal way back when at the Post cereal plant.
Oh yeah.
And that scarred me for Michigan.
Yeah, I suppose. We lived in Lansing, Michigan, and then I remember going by Battle Creek all the time and seeing those.
You don't want to stop there.
No.
I mean, it's nicer now. They've done a whole bunch of stuff now that we were past there. But anyway, Jerry Brainerd, owner, president, founder, creative force behind Revolution Manufacturing. Thank you for being on the show today. It's been great to get to chat with you for a bit.
Thank you very much, Mike. It was great to be here.